5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom shakalaka, mother huggers. Starting out with a slurp today. Okay, let's do it.
Hi there.
This is the Tangent Podcast. My name is Jared.
And I'm Dane.
And now you're bubbly again.
Really? Why? Was it just my slurp?
You're good now.
Or-
No, now you're good.
Okay, cool.
And today we're talking about cryptocurrencies. Dane, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you, Jared. It's quite a windy day, a windy evening. I went for a jog on the beach and the sand was whipping around my ankles at quite a pace.
Interesting that you mentioned going for a jog. For the viewers out there, Dane lives in Cape Town, beautiful sunny Cape Town, South Africa, and I live in beautiful, cold and wet Munich. And I also went for a jog today, and it was not sand whipping around my ankles, it was little snowflakes. So it felt good though.
Quite a contrast though, hey?
That's what I like about it.
Sand is dry and snowflakes are wet.
Yeah, but they can... Yes, they are wet, but not like a drop of water.
Yeah.
I would say they're drier than a drop of water.
Definitely drier than a drop of water.
Cool. Okay, so cryptocurrencies. This is a crazy space. Before we start, I'd just like to put a disclaimer out there. This is in no way financial advice. So please don't go out there and if one of us recommends that you purchase a certain cryptocurrency because you might make loads of money from it, just don't do that because, like I said, this isn't financial advice. This is our opinion on this cryptocurrency space and what's going to be happening in the future and how this whole thing started and where we think it's going to end up. So use it, don't use it.
Yeah, probably a good idea to do the opposite of what we suggest. But that's not even advice either, so don't do that. Just do your own research and don't listen to what other people suggest. Like, most people don't know what's going on in this space.
Yeah, on a serious note, that's true because if you're Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio or one of these crazy kids online talking about making millions selling or buying Bitcoins, they're giving predictions and I think it's safe to say that nobody knows how this is going to end up. I mean, if they do, I think they're lying, right? Dane, what would you say about that?
There was a slight cutoff there in what you were saying, but I think I got the gist of it. Just a couple of technical issues. I think that's like no one does, like, it's so new. No one really does know what's going on. Like, you can be a dude that like knows how to read graphs and shit like that. You can look at like historical data and whatnot and like try get some kind of idea from that. But like, I think the majority of people don't know what's going to happen. Like, if you're like a conspiracy theorist, you might think there's some dudes that are controlling it in some way to like benefit themselves. Some people say it's like a Ponzi scheme, some kind of like pyramid vibe going on where everyone's investing their cash in this, and there's a few guys like making millions or billions, and everyone else is like left in the dark. But it is like a very new like investment opportunity that some people are cashing in on. Like even like close friends of mine are cashing in on it, and but as we already said, it's very very uncertain what's going to happen, and like it's just by what's been going on recently, like everyone thought things were going to perk up beginning of this year. Whereas this week, right now, we're currently experiencing some very new crash. Like markets are plunging, like with all cryptocurrencies, be it the big boys like your Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some say Ripple's a big boy as well. But even your altcoins, like your smaller guys, like they're all suffering at the moment.
I totally agree. And for the listeners out there, just this is our first podcast, so just bear with us. We might have some technical difficulties, but as long as you can just understand us for the most part, yeah, like I said, bear with us. It was supposed to be bullish, which means a good time to be in the crypto game and buy and sell. Predicted for 2018, and like Dane mentioned, yeah, Black Tuesday happened. This is what they're calling it. On Tuesday, that was the 16th of January 2018, the markets
Yesterday.
took a huge crash.
Yeah.
Yesterday, correct. And Bitcoin's down like 14%, Ripple's down over 25%. Ripple's an interesting one because that was a cryptocurrency that I was very interested in a few months ago and was very close to purchasing. I didn't. We'll get into why later, but this space is crazy. There's just all kinds of things happening. Its swings are huge. This isn't the stock market where things happen kind of like at a slower pace. This shit happens on the daily. You know, you have ups and downs. It's not for the light-hearted. It's for people with balls
It's
of
fast.
steel,
It's
and
volatile.
for risk. Also for risk-seeking individuals or people that are prone to taking risk, and the rewards can be good. But you know, is this the next tulip mania, Dane?
I don't know. I've heard that phrase being thrown around a bit, and I believe that's because there was some kind of bubble that was created with tulips back in the day. Like, was that just marketing, or what got people so interested in it?
Yes, tulips were huge. It was supposed to be the next best thing, and it was heavily invested in, and then it just kind of fucked out, and people lost everything. And Bitcoin is predicted, well, from some of the skeptics, to be way bigger than tulip mania. First of all, let's try and wrap our mind around what a cryptocurrency is. Let's stay with Bitcoin because it is the mother of all cryptocurrencies, as they say, and digital gold. As far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Bitcoin is a blockchain-based technology, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
And how it works is you have like loads of like Asian people, and they're kind of like
Are you talking about like the miners?
yeah, they're like in Asia, in China, where the electricity is really cheap, and they're using like graphic cards to solve kind of like math problems.
Yeah.
And then
I believe the way it
something
works,
like opens up.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong as well here, but I believe the way it works is you have transactions going on, and these transactions need to be what's the word? Like
Verified?
verified in a way, yeah. And I believe that is the that is what the mining that takes place is the solving of or the completing of these transactions. Yeah, I think that's how it works.
So why is it so big in China and like South Korea?
Yeah, I believe, as you said, like the China thing was due to the cheap electricity, and yeah, so I think it just really took off there, and yeah, I mean, China, they are known for their love of technology and pretty much being good at it. Like,
And the South Koreans too. They're like kind of like
yeah, the South Koreans love some technology. Yeah.
totally, they connected. They have those eating videos.
Sure.
And kimchi, but shit's going down in that part of the world too, because I think that's one of the main reasons why we've seen this crash recently. Is apparently there's some Chinese people and South Korean people in the government that are afraid, or they're kind of making more rules, you know, regarding having these cryptocurrencies and trading with them, which obviously affects the markets. But then again, you have these diehards out there which are like convinced that this is the future, and if you don't get in on it now, you're going to lose loads of money. I don't necessarily agree with them. I do believe that the technology is good, but I don't think that, like I said before, they can't, nobody knows. This is the thing. They're forecasting, they're predicting. And the question is why? Maybe they're heavily invested in Bitcoin, so they want more people to buy it, so the price goes up. I'm not sure.
Well,
at the end of the day, Chinese people and South Korean people have a big say in what's going down, and I don't fucking know what the hell's going on in China and South Korea. So, that's going to influence my investment decision, because I don't know what's going on there. Who knows what's going on in China?
Yeah. Well, I think that the China thing could have been like they didn't like the fact that so much of the companies, because there was a lot of power being used to do this mining, and that has been stated as a reason why they want to clamp down is because of the overuse of electricity. But like I think it veers more towards like the want for regulation, because this is like this whole decentralized thing. It's unregulated, which is like a draw.
Sorry, Dan, but what is decentralization for the lay people out there, or for people who don't know what that means?
Well, I would say the decentralization is giving like the power to many people instead of like a few companies. So therefore, you got your banks and whatnot that control the cash, they control the flow of money, and we have so they take like a little taste for like every transaction you do, kind of thing. Banks.
I hate bank charges. When you get that little sign, €3.40 to take out €20. Where does that money go?
Yeah, that goes into
in their pockets.
Yeah,
and this is why people are kind of like also heavily involved in this Bitcoin space, right?
Mm-mm. So what's happening is there is still a fee that people are being paid, like miners are being paid for completing transactions. So you do pay a fee when you move your cryptocurrencies around, but it's not going to the banks. It's going to people that are kind of working for it, which like that's where the decentralization comes in. It's people can then have control of their own wealth and their own money, and they can do transactions cheaply and cutting out the middleman of the banks and whatnot. So decentralization is saying it's not going to the centralized place of this corporation, but it's rather going through. Like if I transact to you, then there will be like a middleman involved, but he doesn't like really have a say or see our money in a way. He just sees a transaction that is a block of transactions, and he decides to take on the job, and he gets a little fee for completing our transaction, which is in a bunch of transactions. So he gets a little fee for the work he does there, or the power that he uses, like his graphics card, his electricity, and we transfer money cheaper. It's actually been quite expensive with, I think, like Bitcoin, for example. I think that's quite a pricey one to move around. Like I know it is cheaper to move Ethereum around to different Ethereum wallets, and some of these other altcoins are making it even cheaper with like micro transactions. So you can transact for lesser fees, you can transact smaller amounts.
So altcoins are every coin that's not Bitcoin, right?
Altcoins are, sure, I'm not that learned on all this, but like I believe you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum and you have like the Ethereum network, and then you have a bunch of tokens that are built on the Ethereum network, like using that network to exist. And so your altcoins are all these other tokens like your Tron, your Ripple, whatnot, and they exist on this Ethereum network. So Ethereum is providing the space for these guys to exist. They like built on the Ethereum platform, and I think therefore they get the moniker of altcoin due to the fact that it's not one of the big boys like the Bitcoin or the Ethereum Ether. Yeah,
and there's like loads of these.
Yeah, there's I believe it's in the thousands. Some of them are legit. It's kind of interesting because like your altcoins, the way I understand it is like I have a few altcoins stored away, and like they're pretty much the way it feels to me is you're buying like a share in a company. You're buying like a share in the belief that this company will do something and become worth something, and therefore it's like investing in a company, in a startup, like in the early stages, and then that's how
I understand.
your investment like increases, is when this company starts like produces their product and people start using it, then the value of the company increases, and therefore the value of your token, your share in the company, increases as well. So that's why a lot of people like suggest doing your research in what this coin is based on, what it represents, what company it has a share in, because that'll obviously make a lot of difference. Because there are scams out there as well. These scam coins exist. They call them shit coins, um, and
Okay.
so obviously you
Because
don't want. Yeah,
they're
it's
just
someone like pulling the wool over your
somebody
eyes,
trying to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they basically getting funding for their, in inverted commas, startup company, which doesn't actually, there's no product. There's maybe like a promise that they put out there that they're going to do something, but then they don't, and they can just kind of run away with your cash. And yeah, so
And there's no actual tech behind the product or the project,
yeah,
and these
yeah,
guys are just out there trying to rob people.
yeah. And I mean,
Is
these guys
is
can
is the
sound
space
legit.
regulated?
No, it isn't. I think there is regulation in a way where some exchanges where you can do your purchasing of altcoins and whatnot, these exchanges can choose whether they include a coin or not. So I believe there might be like a process that you got to go through to be featured on one of these exchanges in order for people to buy it on the exchange. And I would hope that there's some kind of like thorough uh, research that the exchange does on the behalf of the people that are going to be buying coins via that exchange. But there are ways to get hold of coins by not going through one of your big exchanges. There's one that I used called I think it's Ether Delta, and it's kind of like a clunky UI and shit. It's not like the best interface to use, and it's quite a bit of learning and trust to actually do stuff on it. But yeah, I saw a list of coins there where a lot of them were like shit I hadn't heard of, and I just didn't take the time to research because I had like a couple that I'd researched in mind, and I went for those because yeah, they seemed legit. There was like a company behind it. I could see the team behind it. I could see there was a CEO that has done stuff in the past. So obviously the dude doesn't want to like ruin his reputation, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so it just pays to have some due diligence and kind of research the market, the particular coin that you're interested in before you purchase it, because yeah, lack of regulation, and it's kind of like it's so new, this space, that down the line, who knows, maybe it'll become more regulated and safer, but at the moment I suppose there's a lot of sharks circling in this space. So be careful, guys. Take care out there. Another thing I wanted to ask you is, you've got a Tron story. I have a Ripple story. Can you tell me your Tron story, or should I tell you my Ripple story first?
Well, yeah, you go for your Ripple story first then, man.
Well, it was like 3 months ago, and I just got interested in this crypto space because I had been hearing about it like one does, on social media, normal media, internet, YouTube, and it appealed to me because of, the fact that it's the main attraction for me was that it's like, fuck the banks, fuck the 1%, all that shit. And I looked into it, and I was like, there's that huge website, CoinMarketCap, which is very important to the cryptocurrency space. People use that to figure out where the coins are and what they're doing, as far as their progress is concerned, throughout the day or week or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are some really cool tools. And I went on there, and I just went and took a look at a few, and I saw that Ripple one. I just like the name, so I researched it, and a lot of people like buy Ripple. This is like way undervalued. It's going to blow up, and it was at that point of time 18 cents for one Ripple. And I like the fact that there was like, we were talking earlier about the different kind of technology that each coin provides. This one was designed for the financial services as a better way of transferring money across different banks and countries. It seemed like it had some serious legitimate backers, like dudes talking to me in suits with nice haircuts, and it just sounded good,
Yeah.
I had a good feeling about it. And then I got as far as getting onto an exchange. Like I researched a few exchanges. There's loads of exchanges out there. I recommend you go with the big ones, because they potentially could get hacked. Like Mount Gox, that was like when was that? 2009 or whatever. Mount Gox was an exchange in Japan. They got hacked, and some hackers like stole like millions worth of Bitcoin. Anyway, so I was looking at a few exchanges, and I think I settled for like Binance or Bittrex or something like that. And I got on there, and then I was like so close to buying it, but I got like kind of like
Cold feet.
Yeah, just because of the transaction. First of all, they wanted a lot of information, which I understand, because their whole business is based on like identification. Are you really the person you say you are? Because a lot of people have this assumption that cryptocurrency or bitcoins are like anonymous. They aren't. You have to provide details to your exchange in order to trade Bitcoin. So, and it's quite a step-by-step process. That the one I was looking at, they wanted me to hold a picture of my passport and send it to them, passport deals, all that kind of thing. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that, because then I couldn't just buy the Ripple. I had to get Bitcoin, and from Bitcoin or Ether, which was strange to me. And then from that, I had to change and onto another exchange and get like Ripple. And I was like, fuck it. And then I forgot about it. I was like, no, I don't want to be in the space. Fuck it. And then, because you're always hearing about Bitcoin, like especially, I mean, we're relatively young. Okay, good. We're like millennials, I would say, born after 1980. And in our kind of generation, there's a lot of kind of like people that they get hold of technology first. Like what are they called? Like first, what do you call them? Like people that attach themselves to technology right in the beginning curve, kind of thing. And I would say that millennials are like pretty good at that, especially in this kind of space. So I was hearing a lot about it and blah blah blah, and you're always hearing about the space kind of thing. And then like I think it was a few weeks ago, Bitcoin shot up to $1, then it went up to $2, then it was up at $3, and I was like, shit, fuck, man. I was considering putting in 300 euros at 18 cents. I would have made a decent amount of money if I had sold at $3.
So you're talking about Ripple, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, Ripple, the coin.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's still above, I think it's above $1. It's like $1.90 or something like that. It has gone down or whatever. But there's always that thing in the back of my mind where it's like, I should have done it. And then recently, I was like, okay, cool. Before Black Tuesday happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to invest in it just as a long-term hold, hold. And then I was like, I spoke to a few people, a couple friends, and like, just like there's a crash coming apparently. And even guys within the space seem to agree. And I thought to myself, okay, let me just wait. There's no kind of pressure on me to buy anything right now. Let me just wait and see how this turns out, because I think a bubble or the crash, not like Black Tuesday crash, I'm talking about a crash where it's like 90% like wiped out kind of thing. I think that's going to clean out this space like in a big way. And the people that are the coins that are left after that, I might invest in.
Okay.
So that was my Ripple story. I don't know how that would differ to your Tron story.
Yeah. Do you
But what is
feel
Tron?
just before I go on that, do you feel that that this Black Tuesday situation is perhaps this crash that you mentioned? So maybe it's not a
No,
90%
definitely not. This is
thing.
just a test.
You reckon?
This is just a test. Yeah, this I'm talking about a bubble, like tulip mania popping. Like it's gonna wipe out 90% of the cryptocurrency space, and this is just not even a taste of it. The market's gonna, I think, because it's going up and down all the time, so the market will correct. If now you could still make shitloads of money, because now's the time to buy. If you're willing, you could buy Bitcoin at the moment under $10,000.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I think it was 3-4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, it was like $20,000.
Dude, yeah, it's all time high. Wasn't it getting close to like well, I'm thinking rand now, but like almost close on 300,000 rand or something like that. So like 270, 280, which
Exactly.
I don't know what that is in dollars, but yeah, it almost reached $20,000. Yeah, I mean what?
And then
$20,000. Yeah.
And then it went down, but I still think it's going to go back up, probably to 20,000, maybe even it'll go past 20,000. Maybe it'll hit 30, 40, whatever. So I do think people, like I said in the beginning, don't take my advice, really. But I think if you wanted to make some money, now is the time to do it, like 2018, 2019. I think I really, it's just a feeling, but it's like I said, it's just a feeling, I can't base it on any actual fact. It's just my general impression of how this is going to turn out, is that it's going to pop in a big way soon, and it's going to be chaos. It's like,
well, when you say it's going to pop, like, or soon, how soon are you reckoning? Are you talking years, or are you talking months, or?
Ooh, I don't know. That's the thing. Who knows?
Okay. Because
who knows?
What if it isn't? What if it isn't like some kind of bubble? What if this Black Tuesday thing was, okay, maybe caused by the fear of, like what's happening in Asia with China and South Korea and stuff, or the regulation and clamping down on miners and stuff like that. Like, what if that is the cause for this? Another thing that they've been saying is it's the Chinese New Year. And because it's the Chinese New Year, you got all these young Chinese folk that are selling off their cryptocurrency so that they can pay for their holidays, like going back home and buying presents and stuff like that. That's something that I've seen in the media. I know the media is like a fucking bullshitter, but like, what if it is potentially just that?
Bullshitter,
yeah. What if it is potentially just that, And what if it isn't a bubble? What if this is just something that's happened? It's like a little blip in the road, and it's only up from here. Like, again, don't take our advice or my advice. I'm just speculating.
Yeah. Well, it may be, like I agree with you. There are these things that are, influencing this market, just like they influence the stock exchange.
Yeah.
And because it's such a crazy new space, we don't know what these things are. It could be anything. Like, for example, CoinMarketCap, I think it was 2 weeks ago or whatever, decided for some reason not to incorporate the South Korean exchange in its numbers.
Yeah.
And people just freaked out because they just saw that they misread the numbers somehow, and they started selling like you do, like in the stock exchange. And then people are like, oh, I got to sell because I'm losing money. Let me just sell. Whereas you just think to yourself, hey, hold long term. Cool. If you want to be a day trader, be a day trader. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of stress, I imagine, but the rewards are probably huge. Yeah. I'm just saying, this might be the next big thing. I think the technology is going to be up there, for a long, long time. I'm just saying that when I hear from my hairdresser or my barber that he's talking to me about Bitcoin, then something's fucking gone wrong, Like, I know it's like it sounds kind of wrong, like, because why shouldn't a barber be talking about Bitcoin? But everybody knows about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
isn't that a
my
good thing?
father-in-law, who's like 70 years old, he knows about Bitcoin. It's good.
Yeah.
It is a good thing, but it's
Because
also, I
that's
think
just
it
an
is.
example of the everyman situation. Like, this is for every man. It's not for Wall Street. It's not for your banks. It's for every single person. It's for like your friend's mom. You know, she doesn't know where to invest her cash, so she's gonna dabble a little bit, like a quarter or whatever she can afford to lose. She puts into some Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrency, and it's a gamble because no one knows what's going on. But like, potentially people can, like, you know, you read stories about like dudes buying their first house off of their Bitcoin earnings, and they're like, boom, you know, done.
Yeah, like if my friend's mom wanted to invest, you know, I could say, hey, buy Bitcoin. Like, I wouldn't say any, like, I'd say go for Bitcoin, don't buy anything else. This is just my personal opinion. Like I've said twice before, and then just hold it and see how it goes, because,
Yeah.
you know, you might end up making a lot of money. Or I could say, buy gold
Yeah.
or buy property, you know. But I'm just saying, cool, this space is awesome, but just realize that it's risky,
Yeah.
and I'm of the opinion that a crash is coming.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a good thing, because
Isn't
it's
it
going to
so
clean out all your dodgy shit coins.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it so exciting that
It's super
like
exciting.
yeah, someone could have had like half a Bitcoin that they got hold of for like, I don't know, like $300 or something, like, or even less, like a while ago, like mere months ago or a year ago or whatever, you know, and suddenly they have like or in South African currency like R500,000, you know, like coming from yeah, it's incredible that this possibility exists. And like, I know it's risky and I know it's a gamble, and like it could have gone the other direction and they could have lost that cash, but people are putting small sums of money that they don't mind losing and potentially gaining like massive profits. Like, the return on investment is sometimes like incredible, like amazing,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I know,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. That's what got me
Yeah.
tempted in the whole to buy in the first place.
Yeah, I'd say, like, I'm not advising anybody. I'm not advising you even, but I'd say have a fucking dabble, man. Like, if you got €300
If you
or
can afford it,
something,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
if you can afford it, lying around that you would have like pissed away anyway or spent on like a couple of meals out, like pop it in some this venture that you've seen people have rewarded from, or you know, it's and like if you lose it, like, don't cry, and if you win, then have a party. You know, it's a exciting time to be able to invest a little bit of cash somewhere.
And
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's a new asset form. I think, you know, the sky's the limit. Who knows where this is going to end up? Just
yeah,
be careful. You know, be aware of the sharks. Like, there's sharks everywhere though. But I don't know. What do you do though with your winnings? Can you just take it out? Does it have to get taxed, or how does that work?
Well, it's interesting with your Ripple story, with like having to give Binance your information and stuff like that. I signed up with Binance. Like, some mates told me that they were on there, so I was like, okay, if my mates are doing it, I'll do it too, you know. And yeah, signed up. I had no. They didn't ask for photographs. They didn't ask for passport, anything. I'm on as like an unverified user, which allows me to withdraw a maximum of 2 Bitcoin, which is actually a load of cash. So that I can withdraw the equivalent of 2 Bitcoin. Okay, there's a fee involved and all that, as there is everywhere. But yeah, that is an option, and I have removed cash from it and put it elsewhere already. So I know that is legit. Like, they're not going to be like, no, you can't take your money out or anything. So yeah, like, I managed to do it with bare minimum of my details of my information. Was like an email address and my name and some verification and stuff like that. And it seems pretty secure. And yeah, like, yeah,
You
it's
got to
just
have
weird. Like,
your wallet game sorted out though. Hey, that's another thing. The wallet game.
yeah. If you want to keep your coins securely, potentially or preferably off the exchange, then you can pop it into a wallet. But just know that then you're limited limited to the time constraints, because some of these transactions that go through, they go through in bulk. So you need to wait for for enough transactions to like be kind of like a mineable block or something. And then there's also a time process there as well. So sometimes it can take like up to a day to see it arrive on the other side. And like, it's a little bit scary for a lot of people. Like, you see it on forums and stuff. Guys are like, I moved my money to another wallet and it's been 12 hours and I still haven't seen anything. And then they're like, it's been 24 hours and I still haven't seen anything. It's in this like weird purgatory. Like, you don't know where your coin's gone kind of thing. Like, did I type the wallet address incorrectly, you know? But yeah, like, then on those forums, you always see like the kind of a bit lower down on the forum, they'll be like, it's come through, you know? So I don't know. That's also like just an interesting thing. There's like a minor kind of trust factor going on there where you're like, I hope all this stuff is legit because this is my money I'm moving around here, you know? I just wanted
it is money at the end of the day.
Just wanted to give my little Tron story.
Yes, please.
And also you were talking about holding.
Holding, yes.
Yeah, it actually it came from like some dude's spelling error. He said like HODL, hodl instead of hold.
Yeah, he was drunk talking about his life, and then he said, "If all else fails, hold."
Yeah, and that's been changed to like an acronym for "Hold on for dear life," which is quite fitting, being like such a volatile market. You know, like you like riding like a bull or something. You know.
Because that's good advice. Sorry to cut you short, but that's good advice. If you are, you know, sold on the technology and the fact that it's decentralized and that you have control, not your government or your bank, then you'd want to hold, because if you hold, it's going to have more time to just get bigger and bigger, as opposed to all the speculation that's going on.
Yeah. The interesting thing with holding, like I definitely recommend holding as well. Like for one, if you're not moving it around too much and exchanging it for other currencies, then you're not paying fees. It's just sitting there, you know. And but the only thing is, then you might be prone to a bit of like fear when you see it dropping or something. You're like, oh, gotta sell, you know, because you're scared of like losing your profits. But there isn't really, how can I say, like you don't know what's going to happen. And like, I've done this like 3 times already. I messed up because it was out of like anxiety. I was like, oh, I'm going to lose my money, you know? So like I sold when something was dropping, and then it rose like exactly after that. And I missed out on like this little spurt of growth. At the moment, I'm holding through this Black Tuesday crash. I've been looking every now and then at what's going on with the kind of value and everything, but like I'm pretty intent on just holding and seeing it through this little rough patch, because I've done my research with the coins I've invested in. Like I've looked at the companies and everything. I've read up about them. I've done my due diligence. So I'm pretty confident that I've made good decisions here, and I'm just going to sit and hold, because I think with a lot of these coins, it's a long-term thing. And that's the problem, is a lot of people want returns tomorrow, you know, and that's possible.
Quick money, man. Make some money, fucking get in, get out, be rich. It doesn't happen like that, guys.
Yeah, it can.
Well,
but
it happened to a few. It happened, you know, but I think they're the minority. I mean, these are the guys that got onto this wave like way back in the day, and you hear these stories of some dickhead who like misplaced his hard drive with like 6,000 bitcoins on it, which he got for like fucking some chick somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe sold her a pizza or something. Or I heard like people,
they were giving it away for free. During the beginning, the guy was like, like during like workshops or like seminars, they just like send it like to, here, you can send it from my phone to your phone. Here's a Bitcoin. Now they're worth 9,000, and they were worth 3 weeks ago to 20,000. So and then it's just crazy, man. This whole space is insane. Your Tron story. Tell me about your Tron story.
Yeah. Okay. So I was looking for some altcoins to invest in, because I was like, I missed the Bitcoin train, you know, and like in order for me to kind of double my money, like it needs to go from like 15K to 30K, and that's like a very steep kind of jump it would need to do, you know. So I was like, I'm keen to find something that's like low that has potential to grow. So I was looking around and watched a few YouTube videos, read some articles, and I stumbled upon this one called Tron. Um, and I'm not endorsing it at all. Like it might be a bad investment or whatever, but like I have a bit of belief in it because it's basically Tron. Like to explain what Tron is, they want to decentralize the entertainment industry, like media and whatnot. So they want to take. They want to give ownership of what you produce, like the content you produce. You're going to own it and you're going to gain from it. Like you're going to make all the profits off of your kind of hard creative work. And so you won't have like your YouTubes and your Facebooks and everything like being the middleman taking a cut. Yeah, and that's something I believe in, being a musician and like producing my own content and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, this sounds pretty sweet. Like I believe in that idea. So I did a bit more research. It's this dude, Justin Sun. He was like Forbes 30, like in the Forbes top 30. Yeah, under 30. And he went to like, he's Asian. He's Chinese, I believe. And he went to the Jack Ma University, you know, the owner of Alibaba.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this university that he started where it's like kind of wealthy entrepreneurs got together and like oaks that are like really promising or whatever, or doing really well in like the entrepreneurship space, like could go to this university. And so Justin Sun was like the youngest dude to go to this thing. And he's got like some good, like a good CV. He was actually involved in Ripple at one point as well. He was like their blah blah blah. I could say like chief financial officer or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he was a marketing dude, but yeah, he was involved in Ripple. He's been involved in I can't remember now, but like a couple of other successful businesses. So and he's like the face of Tron at the moment. And I'm not saying like I believe in this dude, but like I don't think he would come in and scam people and then ruin his reputation. Like he's young and he's got a promising career ahead of him. And then did a bit more research, and there's like a good team of like developers and whatnot. And like kind of every few days he does like a post about like, we got this guy from Alibaba. We got another dude that used to work at Microsoft. So there's a good team going on there. I think they got like 80 developers at the moment. But anyway, I'm giving too much of a backstory there.
No,
Tron
no
was,
worries, man. There's not no such thing as too much of a backstory.
Okay. Like I'm not pushing this on anyone, just to say disclaim again. But yeah, I saw it selling for like
Buy Tron.
I saw it selling for under a American cent. I don't know what you call those, probably cents. Yeah.
Pennies?
And pennies maybe, yeah. And I ended up jumping on it when it was at two pennies, 2 American cents. And then it went up to 20 odd. So I made like quite a good profit there, but I didn't draw it out or anything. But to me, it was just, I was seeing the potential of this thing. Like maybe it rose too quickly, too early or something. But
hold. You were thinking hold.
Yeah, hold. So I held, and now it's dropped down, like with this whole crash and everything. It was sitting at 5 pennies earlier today. Now it's at 6 pennies. But it's currently one of the ones that are on the up. It's in the green. It's plus 28% for the last 24 hours, which is like that's positive. But anyway, the thing with Tron is it's a long-term project, and a lot of these altcoins are long-term projects. They've got a roadmap for like the next few years. You know, I think they've done like a roadmap for the next 10 years. Tron. So in 10 years, like they're gonna be like producing their products like this year at some point, and there's like they're going to be obviously do like develop updates like over the years, but they've got like the next 10 years kind of mapped out. So to me that just says hold. That just says, okay, I believe in the product that they want to produce. That's a new kind of internet for content, the whole decentralization thing. So I agree with it. I believe in it, and yeah, for me, it's a holder. Eh? So yeah, that's my Tron story.
Yeah, man. I mean, cool story, bro. No, I mean it's so, there are so many options out there because every coin has an idea behind it. So, and these are really groundbreaking ideas. So things are changing, especially, as we know it in every kind of like industry. And I think governments also need to change. And this is either going to completely kind of like take them out of the equation, like long term, like it'll just be like algorithm and the best decision will be made by like a robot, and that's how countries will be run, or it's gonna be something that's gonna like just be the great equalizer, of everything. Like, so the ideas behind this is awesome. I'm on board with everything, idea wise and that kind of thing. And I just hope that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And I hope that these, the Rothschilds and the fucking Oppenheimers and the fucking, the 1%, 9 Jewish people that run the world apparently don't fuck this up, for everybody else. And that's another argument I heard from a friend of mine. He was like, Jared, who do you think, because this is a threat to these old school, old money motherfuckers that are like running the world, and like have us all under their kind of like fucking boots. And he was like, who do you think? You think they're going to sit back and fucking let this shit happen? And I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of support. There's a lot of people like us who are behind this kind of technology. And he was like, dude, the next fucking presidential election, there's just going to be some fucking associate of the Rothschild group that's going to like pay money to some guy's campaign and going to be like, okay, we're going to give you $1 billion for your campaign, whatever, but you're against cryptocurrency, you're going to close down the exchanges in the US, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's not to guarantee that it's going to die, because like even with China and South Korea and this shit that's happening, it's not going to die. I don't think it can ever die. It's just it's a Pandora's box, This tech is out there. It's not going anywhere. But
yeah, for sure. Like
the space, the actual the money that's going, or the exchanges and stuff. That's kind of like still early days. But the ideas behind it, the technology, I think it's going to make this planet a better place to live in, and it's just it's gonna be the equalizer, and it's going to help the common man, and it's going to help normal people that are like just trying to earn a living, provide for their family, and I hope that happens in my lifetime, because I want to see that shit happening. I'm kind of like pretty disillusioned with the way things are at the moment, although they are like kind of it's still cool to be like alive and shit. I mean, you can't really complain for like I can't really complain, but there's a lot of shit happening, and it shouldn't be happening, especially, it's 2018 and this tech needs to be pushed, and people need to get behind it, and they need to get like you need to get rid of poverty, get rid of world hunger. I know it's like, I'm just saying it right now, and it's a lot difficult to actually do this kind of thing, but technology is going to help us do that.
Yeah. Something just talking about poverty and stuff like that, like, to me, it's a little bit sad that like there is an opportunity for money to be made for like every man, but it's still only for those that can afford it. So there still is some privilege involved with like I can do it because I've got like a little bit of expendable cash. I don't have loads, but so money I don't mind losing. Maybe I don't go out a couple of weekends in a row, and then I can invest some cash in cryptocurrency. But like the man that's sitting in like a informal settlement or something, he's not going to be able to do this, and like, for one, does he have access to it, and for two, does he have like money to put into it? So there is still that imbalance there, but it is like it's allowing like a kind of I could say like the middle class, the working class, people with a bit of cash to like have a bit of a gamble here and take some risks on something that they
For the
believe in,
greater good.
and yeah, that could potentially like earn them something. I just wanted to talk about uh, holding against like day trading or swing trading. Um, like I think for people that aren't like that experienced in like financial markets and stuff like that, myself being one, um, like for us, it's a bit like you get anxious, you get like emotion driven. You might make bad decisions due to it's going down or it's going up. Like and if you don't have that kind of experience of like reading data, reading the graphs, and like knowing, having some level of skill in prediction or whatever, I definitely recommend holding. Like, yeah, but once again, that's advice that I'm giving myself, not anybody else here. But like,
That's good advice. I can get behind that because it's you don't have to do much. You just have to put in your money, and then you just have to wait, and then save yourself all the stress of day trading and being constantly connected to coin market cap and getting a boner every time the swings happen and
Yeah.
whatever. Just hold it. Put it somewhere. Hold it 5 years. Don't look at CMC every day, and that's what's going to help you, because at the end of the day, we're talking about the long-term game. We're not talking about day trading. I just wanted to mention something. If anybody had to take something away from this podcast, it would be investment. We're talking specifically about cryptocurrencies, but I'd like to just urge everybody who can, and even if you are living in informal settlement, save some money. It doesn't matter how much it is, and invest it. It's a whole game. It's a whole world out there of investment opportunities, not just in the cryptocurrency market, but everywhere. You have all kinds of assets, and I think it's important for your average man who the prices are getting more expensive. Rent's getting more. Chicken costs more, petrol costs more, fucking eggs, everything's going up, cheese, whatever, you name it. Grow your money, like inform yourself about investing, and hopefully you might be able to make some money if you get your shit together and like figure out a proper strategy. I think long-term investing is something you probably want to go for. But if you're not investing, I don't know, maybe you're not really part of, you're selling yourself short, like for your financial security in the future. How would you agree with me, Dane?
Yeah, I do agree with you, definitely. It's like that versus living hand to mouth. Or I mean, sorry, like if you live hand to mouth, then that's a tough situation to have cash to invest. But if you've got cash to invest, if you can put something away, then put something away, because even if it's just saving for a rainy day, that's one thing. But there's like minor interest involved there if you're like saving in a savings account or whatever. But if you can afford it, like to invest in property or something, it's actually quite interesting. I don't know if this happens the world over, but like, it definitely happens in South Africa, where you have a few people putting their cash together and buying property. I'm not sure like what culture it is, but say you got like 8 people, and one person buys a house for, or they all buy a house together for like 800,000 rand. So they're each putting in 100,000 rand for a year. This is just like example numbers. So therefore, if they can all put 100,000 in a year, they'll have a house paid off in a year, and then they move on to the next property, and the same 8 people invest in another property. So over 8 years, they can have 8 houses. Whereas if one person did it, if one person did it, they would be paying off interest for 20 years and therefore paying like twice the amount for the property. It sounds interesting to me. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of like situations where it's like, who gets the house first, or do we all live in it together, or how does that work? You know,
Or Johnny develops a crack problem and like defaults.
yeah, or the fifth house they buy is like bigger than the others, or whatever, you know. But it's just an idea that sounded interesting to me, and I mean, if the example here is with property, but you could do the same thing with something else. If there's a certain requirement, like if you need like 50K to invest in something and you've only got 10, get 5 other people with 10, and then you can do that investment thing. Obviously, pick your mates well, you know. As you said, you don't want Johnny with a crack problem to be involved in this.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to just like choose your partners wisely, you know, in the beginning.
For sure.
But crack can grab the best of them, you know, but who knows? But I agree
I think
with you.
I think if anyone takes anything away from this, it's stay away from crack.
Yeah, please don't do crack, don't do drugs. This is your brain on drugs. No, but on a serious note, I'm like, I think it's important that people should invest. Even if you don't have much savings, I think whatever kind of like income you're looking at, you could maybe, you know, tighten the purse strings a little bit and save some money. And with all the information out there, you know, it would be rude not to like just inform yourself about investing, because you could set yourself up nicely for the future. You know, like you don't have to like, for me personally, oh man, it would be so nice not to have to go to a job, you know.
Yeah, it'd be the best.
You know,
man.
I would like it would just to be like, hey, I don't need to go there to work for another person and make him more money, so I can afford to like live in an apartment and eat food and stuff like that. Just to have like kind of money that I'm responsible for and like I've worked for, you know, and like that's helping me out in my life. That's kind of like a goal of mine, I suppose. But hey, you know, use it, don't use it. I really hope this podcast has like informed some people about this cryptocurrency space. I think it has. I think we've mentioned it a lot in a very short amount of time. And we'd like to continue doing that with our podcast. You know, I was thinking next week maybe we could do something which has been on my mind a lot, fecal transplants. But we can talk about that at another time. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is if you're struggling with your energy levels, if you're tired, if you don't have you know, enough motivation, and if you just feel kind of like drained, you're not sleeping well, your sex life is suffering, what you do is you take what they do, you know, it's a medical thing, is that you take a little, I'm not sure if it's little, but a piece of poo from another person, and you put that piece of poo in your bum, and all those beautiful bacteria in that piece of poo, they multiply, and you know, you take it. It's got to. Well, obviously, you don't want to take it from another tired fucking person. You want to take it from a really fit person. You know, like an athlete. You know, you'd like Usain Bolt's shit would be like the best thing to do.
I think I need to cut you off there, Jared, because I think you're giving too much away. Like,
okay, well,
I'm tempted to go down this road right now.
Yeah,
like,
well, let's save let's save that for the next podcast. Dane, it's been a real pleasure talking to you about cryptocurrencies. I'm looking forward to the next one.
I just want to say, please excuse any like ill information that we've shared. If anything is incorrect or whatever, like our take on certain things or our understanding of stuff, about like blockchain technology or whatever, it's like we aren't experts. We've picked up little bits here and there, and we just running with that, you know. And that's I'm just disclaiming so that we don't get a bunch of like negative comments about how stupid we are. But I don't know. I think we're pretty informed enough for ourselves at least. So if you want to have any like negative say on it, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I mean, but we also love haters, you know? Like, I love haters. If it wasn't for the haters, we wouldn't improve ourselves, because like if you're coming to us with like legitimate criticism and you're correcting us on what we're saying, we're going to take that shit and we're going to learn from it, because like I said, we don't know what we're talking about like most of the time, you know? So inform us, correct us. Please do that. Let's have a conversation. That's cool.
Well
First
said,
of all,
Jared. Well said. Actually, better than I
man,
said
I
it.
just
I
wanted
think
to.
I was a little bit rude.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I also think to myself, hey man, like, go fuck yourself. You know,
Yeah.
just go fuck
It's
yourself.
one of the first things that comes to mind.
Go fuck yourself.
You know?
That's the first thing that
Some
comes to one's mind.
unhelpful,
But like,
negative comments. Yeah.
no, but everything's cool. All the comments are cool. We don't give a fuck. You know, like we love it. We fucking love it. At the end of the day, thank you so much for listening. Just want to close this off and say, if you have enjoyed what we're saying or what we've said, let us continue making fucking more podcasts and support us by just sharing this with a friend. That's all we ask. Nothing
Share
more.
with a friend. Like if this is on YouTube or something like that, then
Or whatever,
hit the
whatever
subscribe
format you find
button and,
this podcast.
Share it. Yeah.
And we're gonna say goodbye now.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. So next week, we'll be talking
Bye,
about fecal
guys.
transplants.
Fecal transplants, the future.
All right, yeah, this has been great, Jared. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers, Dane. Pleasure.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.